the 11th. Currently, I'm taking the Topstep Combine, the 50K challenge. Our current account balance is $50,389. This week was pretty interesting. We had only traded 4 days. Monday ended up being sick. We had three really great trading days and one really bad trading day. So let's go to the P&L here. So as you can see here, this is going to be Tuesday. Tuesday we ended up $390. And if you stick around, I'm going to recap three of these trades, two of the good ones and one of the really bad ones, and see what went wrong. Wednesday we ended up profiting $176.50, and then Thursday we ended up losing $516.50. Friday we came back. It was a really long day. Ended up being on the charts pretty much all day, and at the end of the day, towards say 12 o'clock, well 3 o'clock, I ended up taking one trade on the RTY, the IWM futures, and we made back $300. So profit for the week is $350. With everything that happened, particularly on this really bad day here, I'm pretty happy with that. But we'll go through it and see what happened and why, what we can do better for the following week. So this is going to be the Tuesday trade here. So this was absolutely perfect for me. We had this consolidation here. I did not expect the market to fall, but the market, as soon as we opened, ended up plummeting right into this little support area. So I was watching for that bounce, and here's where it comes. This is a 5-minute chart. The bounce came basically because we had this really nice trend lower, but then we ended up accelerating. And then look at the volume. I ended up picking up one contract here on this green bar and then added another contract right over that as soon as I saw that we were not going to flush any lower. Now, we did end up taking profits here relatively quickly. I did have two contracts on this. We were risking, I believe, just over $200. Ended up making the $390 back, which is just almost 2 hours, and was a wonderful little trade, and we ended it that way. Then let's go through Friday real quick. So Friday we ended up, this was the basically all day where we're just waiting to see what was going to happen. Now I saw opportunity towards the beginning of the day. Unfortunately, I did not take it. I even saw the 10:30 reversal time, but I just was not confident in it. So we waited and waited and waited. I was waiting to see if we would pivot here and then continue higher. There was a couple of pips here, ticks that went higher, but just wasn't very quality. I was wanting to see if we can potentially even make a new low, then pull back, go sideways and higher. Did not happen, and this continued to bleed all morning. And then we ended up looking at a 15-minute chart and noticing that this area was a great level of support. I ended up watching this area to see if we would consolidate right at the 200 moving average, and then this is where the setup came. So we came down, we popped up here, and then we, this was the first trade that I took here. Was actually a pretty, I believe it was half of that. It was about a $170 trade. And then we came down, retested the low, and then immediately popped up. And on a 1-minute chart, we had a beautiful little failure that went down and then continued to push up. And I believe actually I'm going to show you here. So here's the two trades a little more in depth. This was the first trade that we took, which was nice, a nice little winner right off those lows after consolidation and a little breakout. And then here's the second trade. As soon as I saw this little red bar fail here, I ended up taking this, and this was perfect little trail up here. Okay, now let's go to the day that we had the big loser. Now this is going to be the big one. It's going to be on the 29th. No, on the 31st. Right in here. So as you can see, look at this mess. So we ended up basically taking a couple of longs here, looking at the support levels to see if we would get there, but unfortunately it never did. And we never bottomed out pretty much until the end of the day. I ended up trying a couple of longs at 10:30. None of that worked. So we were initially only down about $100. That would have been a great walkaway point, knowing that we got no bounce at 10:30, and after that we just continued to bleed. However, I ended up continuing to take one more trade, and this is where it came in right here. So I saw this flush down. We made a new low. Okay, we pushed up, we tried to sell off, and it didn't happen, and then we went sideways. And I took this little entry here. Okay, I took this little breakout entry here, and then I ended up actually adding to it as we came down and retested this area. That was the mistake. Had I just kept my current position on, it would have been about a $200 loser. Would have been perfectly fine with that, easy to get back. But by having two contracts in here, I had to give it the room. I try to give it to the bottom, below this pivot here on the 15-minute chart, and it just continued to bleed lower. Now it did come back at the end of the day after it stopped me out. Probably just took my liquidity and then continued to push, but there was more than I was willing to trade and ruin an entire week. So we had already made mistakes on this, and it is what it is. So next week's focus is to just to keep the losers to a minimum. Keep it to the $250 when we're wrong, walk away and regroup and come back to it. So big focus next week, 10:30 reversal times. I think it should be a great week, and we'll continue the journey. So stay tuned for next week.